Let's go live. So I have picked my job. One of those things that sounds exciting, but probably is not going to be in the least bit. Oh, and I am really close by to where I need to be, so that's excellent. Well, it's interesting, you can actually just drive straight through the yard here. All right, so they've got a few jobs, and these ones actually pay more per mile, but they are wide loads, so they're very slow to deliver anything. And then they've got dynamite and fertilizer. Well, let's see what trailer options they have. Have a double as an option. That'd be towing, or basically hauling 35,000 pounds of dynamite. What was the original trailer? 33,000 pounds. So we'll be hauling more weight with the double. I don't think the refrigerated trailer is going to be an improvement on it. Yeah, we're hauling 33,000 pounds. Yeah, I guess the refrigerated trailers really aren't going to make a difference. Basically, you can use a refrigerated trailer to haul it if you want, but you're not really gaining anything. All right. We'll just go with the dry van double. Oh, yeah, the dry van double actually puts that at just shy of 40,000 pounds, meaning we make $110,000 for taking the job. We will take that. This does also have the somewhat silly effect of meaning that we also don't need to basically park the trailer as in as difficult as a spot at the other end. They don't make you drive or basically back up a B train. Actually, you know, these might not be B trains. Just thinking about it, I can't remember what the A train configuration is comparatively. Okay, so they want me to leave the yard that way, and that is a perfectly sensible way to leave the yard. But I can also just leave the yard this way, and I'm already aiming this way, so this is going to be easier. So I think let's go right. Definitely wider than needed. That trailer tracks better than I was kind of expecting it to. We've got the most powerful engine we can put in here. It's not that the dynamite's boring, it's that hauling dynamite is boring. Because you don't want it to be exciting. How's it going, Milo girl? Ah, yes, I see the cute mini pretzel twist. Okay, and we're on the road. Because yeah, we are hauling 40,000 pounds of dynamite. Now, it does actually make me think, like, what are, like, it's just you toss it on a trailer and you go. But they've got to be doing something to make it more stable. The, like, dynamite is a more stable version than, like, nitroglycerin, which is one of the things that makes dynamite explosive. You can, like, just shake that too hard and it's going to go boom. It's really, really reactive. With, like, dynamite, I've got the explosive warning. But also, like, if someone else hits this, it's not like dynamite just goes boom. So it's got to be something about the stability that keeps it from going off too easily. But I don't really know what it is that they do to dynamite to make it so. I ran through a lot of air there just to stay stopped because. Well, I mean, but in an accident, you definitely get the heat source relatively easily. The thing is, you can actually burn dynamite, and it won't. Like, if you try to burn a stick of dynamite, from what I understand, it doesn't actually, like, it won't react to that. Only basically the fuse. Like, yes, if you just have dynamite in a raging fire, yes, at some point it is actually going to blow up. But it's really kind of resistant to that. If you, however, have the fuse burn, that goes boom real quick. And I think actually most modern dynamite doesn't use a burning fuse, so you can't actually light the fuse on fire. The fuse is electrically triggered. But I'd have to either talk to someone who actually has experience with the chemical setup of dynamite or read up on it to know. But I'm kind of curious now. Either way, we've got 1,480 miles left to go, so hopefully we don't find out how reactive dynamite is. I'm pretty sure in the game they don't actually model any of that anyway. You could completely wreck the trailer and not have an issue. It'd definitely be interesting if they didn't do it that way. Let your explosive cargo actually just go and blow up. So we've got a nice cloudless day in New Mexico. And don't imagine this weather will hold when we get farther northwest. Get over to the left lane. Yeah, the game seems to have a lot of cloudless days when you're down in the southeast, or I guess central South America. As far east as we can go on the map, but still very much. Basically, the area that many Americans think of as Western America, because the Wild West really happened in Central America. try to accelerate, but the people in front of me are driving slow enough that I can't. So I am all out of mini Reese's cups. I ate my last one yesterday, so now I have to wait for a new fresh supply. Hey Michael, how's it going? And also that big rig out in front of us, like the next light up. He's turning. Oh no, he's gonna get his entire trailer over there. Okay. Definitely, there's roads here so you can explore Roswell, but I've only ever gone straight through Roswell. Never had the opportunity to actually really go around and check out any of it. Your day was made better today when you realized something. Was the realization that you had mini pretzels at home? Say 73 degrees with clouds and tornado watch. That doesn't sound like the most enjoyable deal. Ah, it is Thursday. It is one day closer to the weekend. Yes. All right, speed limit's gonna jump up to 35. Yep, let's go. Well, I do find it amusing that the interface will jump the speed limit up to 35 before you actually get to the sign. So you can get away with speeding a little bit before you actually get to the point where that speed would be the legal speed. Yes, tomorrow is the last mini day of work this mini week. However, that only applies if you actually have a normal work schedule. If you work Monday to Friday. Yeah, winds of 90 mile per hour are never fun. A lot of things start to break at that sort of wind speed. So we're having a really nice warm day. Actually, I've got to see what the temperature is today. I wouldn't be surprised. It's got to be over 10 degrees Celsius. No, it turns out I'm completely lying. It is 7 degrees Celsius. So it looks way warmer than it is. So that's about 40. No, that'd be 45 degrees Fahrenheit. You said it, Michael, but you're very likely to see snow again, just not this year. All right, let's get over to that right lane. We'll just we'll basically keep cruising 10 over. Realistically, if I was hauling explosives, I probably wouldn't actually speed at all. It just seems like that'd be an unnecessary risk. With the fact that it's been freezing for the last while, 45 degrees Fahrenheit is a nice warm day for me today. But also, I wasn't going to go outside without a jacket on, so I'll take it. It's nice. It's nice and sunny. I like it when it's nice and sunny. Here I am reading my text while driving and hauling dangerous goods. It's a bad plan. Oh, and I realize I'm driving below speed limit. Silly me. But I do wish this game had seasons a little bit because it'd be kind of cool as you go farther north to suddenly drive into snowy weather. But I do think that would add a lot. They'd basically have to add a lot to the game while they're still busy trying to add all of America to the game. So at 5 p.m., basically when I finish this stream, you'll just about be ready to be hit by a storm. This will be 5 p.m. my time that the storm will hit you there. All right. Should I be passing people while in a big rig hauling dynamite? Probably not. Seems like a needless risk. But here I go again. That's a pretty hefty, wait, what is that? Is that a... Oh, gotta pull into the scale. Oh, the scale comes up on the left side here. This is a dumb scale, but... scales like this are definitely not unrealistic. Ones where you have to basically turn across the side of the highway and go into it from the wrong side, essentially. I know there are some scales where they will sometimes make you pull into the scale, even though it is an absolute pain for you to get in the scale and then an absolute pain for you to get back out of the scale. And it just seems like they should have either put a scale on either side of the road or just let the traffic going the one way just go without stopping. Because I would rather not pull dynamite across a busy intersection. Yeah, having a storm 20 minutes away from you versus 3 hours is a different level of concern. It's just a big patch of concrete for no reason. Let's take a look. What is my route? So I'm going to be going up through Albuquerque. Which I feel like I could take this exit right here. and then drive that road that I don't normally. And it adds like 5 minutes of drive time to my journey, so that's not a big deal. Or if I go that way, take a route that I've never taken before, and it adds a total of 20 minutes of drive time. And then, so I do like this section, like going from the area over here around in Utah is nice. So I like going through that. Won't make any complaints about that. And the rest of the way just seems like it's going to be the way it is. It's definitely the most direct and probably the quickest way. Anything else would be quite a big detour. So I'll just keep on it. All right, we've got 70 hours to deliver it, but with 24 hours of drive time, we're probably going to need 2 rest stops in this. So that eats up 20 hours of time on its own. So basically we have twice as long to deliver this as we need. We have 24 hours of driving left, but we also only have, I guess we have 50 hours of time, including rest stops, to make the delivery. So way more time than I should need. I should be able to take my time and hit any detours without worrying about making the delivery on time. Which is probably something you want when you're hauling dangerous cargo. Not have to worry about pushing for a certain time limit, because that's how you have mistakes happen. That's how you have people make poor decisions that result in bad disasters. Can't see behind my mirror there. I wish when I looked all the way left, instead of looking behind me to the sleeper, it would basically move my head forward so I could look past the A pillar there. Alright. That's as clear as that's ever going to get. So we go. You just notice how mini my mini speed thing is? Are you talking about where, like, on the little mini map where it tells me my speed limit? Ah, yes. Yeah, they gave me a little, a tiny little speed indicator. And it tells me how fast I'm allowed to go. I'd say I ignore it, but I don't ignore it. I just always go a little bit faster than they want me to. Which I realize we're also going to have to plan in a rest stop here pretty quick. We have three hours before we can do a rest stop. Or within the next 3 hours, I need to do a rest stop. Michael is not banned from anything, but he should be. So there's your warning, Michael. You should behave before you do get mini banned for something. Kind of in a nice scene. Sun is low in the sky, and let's see. Oh, going off the road. So one of the views I absolutely love is this. It definitely would be a hard one to get in real life without losing that camera. Okay, yes, you are yawning. We should take a look. So there's a gas station there, but the only place to sleep is not actually a... So that next checkpoint is about 2 hours away. It's a bit farther than I'd like to go before sleeping, but I do think the rest stops are just a little too far apart in this game. But Milo, you have to remember, he's from Texas. All people from Texas are rebels. That's why they have that rebel yell. Yeah, it'll definitely be close to. It'll probably be really close to midnight. Like it might be just past midnight or almost be right till midnight by the time I arrive at the rest stop. But that's not too bad. We're still going to bed at not the worst hour. We're not going to bed at like 4 o'clock in the morning. You can take the Rebel out of Texas, but you can't take the Texas out of a Rebel? I'm not sure. Not sure where I was going with that. Either way, Milo, just saying, I wish you all the luck in fighting rebellious Texans, but it seems like a losing battle. Or not necessarily a losing battle, but not necessarily worth a battle worth fighting. Oh, I need to be taking that exit on the right there. So I need to get over to this lane right over here. Okay. Made that transition smooth enough. Excellent. Oh, in Santa Fe and hitting a red light. That's the thing that just gets me is really because the only place that I would be able to sleep in Santa Fe is in the the garage I can buy, but I don't think I'm actually allowed to stop at those. So, well, we'll just keep on going. I'm kind of envious, Milo. I love a nice, slow, but heavy snowfall, where the snowfall just keeps on falling and just keeps on building up. I really enjoy that sort of weather. Mind you, also really enjoy staying indoors during that sort of weather, but I like being surrounded by it. Made it over just before the train came. Yeah, I like it when the snow is falling. I like it a lot less when the snow is falling and I need to go and actually do things. Or even worse yet, if I had my motorcycle all ready to go for a ride and then it starts to snow. Suddenly I'm not as much of a fan of snowfall that I otherwise would be a very big fan of. Definitely just hang out in the left lane here for no good reason. Alright, I have 1 hour left before I really need to be taking my rest. My rest stop right away. Basically in 1 hour I will be out of hours of driving. Which in real life, you get caught without while driving out of your hours of operation. That's a big ticket. I don't say a big ticket, but basically it can become problematic really fast. It can make your day go more poorly very easily. Discovered a new viewpoint. So there's a pullout over here. But if I pull into the pullout, I can't just go sleep, which is what you should be able to do in any pullout. I have a sleeper. I can sleep wherever I want. As long as I can get off the road, I should be able to sleep there, dang it. Yeah, I have 1 hour left. And then steering all over the place, trying to mute my mic in time to not sneeze into it. Which I did manage to succeed. I did not sneeze into the mic. Don't want to blow out all your guys' eardrums. Alright, Milo. We'll be waiting here patiently. We'll be counting the seconds. Yes, I know. Getting tired. 7 minutes left, but I think we're almost there. I don't know that we'll technically make it. We're down to 4 minutes. 3 minutes. Alright. So where is this rest stop? Should just be... Is it? Just... Yep. It's a case of pull in here and... Alright. So we did make it to our rest stop, on time. So we have our nap. Wake up in the morning. Yep, that parking job was about as terrible as I thought it was. I was trying to kind of just like pull into the back area here, but I'm like, I can't actually see. Everything's just too dark. Which I feel like is a pretty realistic problem to have. Yeah, not cutting anyone off too bad. Actually, I'm just not cutting anyone off at all. There was just no one there. Also, why does it feel like I'm not in New Mexico anymore? This doesn't feel like landscape that I would guess would be that I wouldn't expect this in New Mexico, I guess is what I'm saying. Not saying that I'm disagreeing that this is the sort of landscape New Mexico has, but you tell me that you're in New Mexico and you send me this sort of landscape, I'm going to sit there and be like, are you sure? Are you sure you're not just in like Washington? Other than the mountains being too small, this really feels like this could just be Washington. Which, while I'm doing that, my other drivers made me a decent amount of money. I can finish paying off the other half of that loan. Still owe that one loan for $342,000, which means I can take out a loan for $150,000, but I need to be able to pay off the remaining $200,000 to be able to sort of make that work. Oh wow. My newest driver is putting everyone else to shame. They're making me $7,500 per day. That's good money. That is way more than what my loan is costing me per day. So they alone pay off my loan and are sorting everything out. Okay. So there's a couple hotels here that I'd be able to pull into sleep if I had gone this far. But there's just, I don't need that, but I do need this gas station. Okay, we're fueled up and good for another day of driving. We won't make it to our destination today. We still have 20 hours of driving left. But we'll make progress. We'll get the majority of that squared away. Yeah, the landscape here definitely feels very much like eastern Washington or Idaho area to me. So, and definitely also including the hills that I just can't keep speed up. Speed limit's 15 miles an hour, and we are just steadily dropping speed. Got the most powerful engine I can have in this thing, but sometimes it's hard to keep speed up hills when you're hauling a lot of weight. Oh, and into Colorado we go. Yeah, you told me this is the landscape of Colorado. I'd believe you. And I know New Mexico borders Colorado. It doesn't feel like a landscape I would ever expect in New Mexico. Yeah, I feel like if I ever had to live in New Mexico, this is the part of New Mexico I'd want to live in. The part that looks least like what New Mexico looks like in TV shows and movies. Definitely does feel like ranch land here, though. Basically, places like this, places like oh, we're making a left here. Basically Texas, New Mexico, those sorts of areas. I definitely look at them and go, this is not the sort of area where I'd want to farm a land crop. These are more the areas that I would want to have like livestock. Maybe cattle, maybe like heck, even goats and sheep I think would probably do fine here, but basically getting tractors out to work this land would probably suck. Looks like the sort of landscape that would be very rocky, hard to work, but livestock doesn't care about that. As long as grass grows, you're fine for livestock. But that said, ground around where I am is very rocky, and orchards and vineyards are very popular around here. It's slowly moving away from from orchards all to being vineyards, which is fine. I don't have a problem. Oh, I was gonna turn into the right lane. That car doesn't seem to know what it wants to do. I guess what it wants to do is just hang out in my blind spot, which is also fair. I have really big blind spots. It makes it an easy thing to do. Still definitely taking new unexplored road. This is not an area I have been to before. That was Pagosa Springs. Very beautiful place. I feel like I need to actually make my plan of riding across America a thing at some point. So keep just, I'm in American Truck Simulator, I'm driving across these roads going, oh hey, this place looks a lot more beautiful than, or this place either looks different than I would expected, or it looks like what I would expected, and it's actually pretty neat. It's a beautiful place. There are some places that look exactly like what I think they'd look like, and they don't look exciting. But that's like, the prairies just aren't an exciting place for the most part. Like, I will admit I'm kind of excited for when this game, gets the North and South Dakota. They're not interesting places, but I kind of look forward to driving through them, and because that's the area I grew up as a kid, and I look forward to looking at it and just comparing to how it lives up to my memory. Hey Mohammed, Coco, how's it going? Okay, and here we join up with the highway that we would have taken if we just left the default route. I should probably go to the right lane because there's probably cars behind me waiting to go. But I'm not going to be that considerate. Yeah, I can't see that there's cars behind me, but doesn't mean they're not there. We're not quite far past enough. No, it looks like we don't actually have any traffic that I am keeping stuck behind me. So that's actually right. My choice to go in the left lane really wasn't a problem. We did get caught by the next light still anyway. That's okay, we'll just drag race this car off the lights here. It'll be fine. Oh, I see how it is, Juan. Hi Milo, but no hi James. Man, oh yeah. Definitely had the moment where I'm like, I had a question for Juan, now I forget what it is, but what is the difference between an A train and a B train? Because I can't remember. I know I knew this at some point. Jeff's explained it to me, but I honestly can't remember what the difference between an A train and a B train is. I know it's the type of trailer, or basically the trailer configuration is different, but I don't remember what the configuration is. Okay, yeah. Oh, this is a weird intersection. I don't remember having ever done this before, but apparently I have. Oh, that is so weird. I am now kind of sad that I'm pretty sure I've only gone through this intersection the other way. I am pretty sure I would have noticed going through it this way. So they've got an advanced green, but you get into the advanced green light separately and then go like, yeah, just no, that was weird. I need a moment to think about how that setup actually worked to decide if I like it or not. That was so weird. I'm just going to take a look at where this is. So just south of Durango, Colorado. Might have to, actually, this might be Durango, Colorado as well still, even though the name's up here. But yeah, I might have to take a look on Google Maps at some point and see how that intersection looks like in real life, because that was just weird. I didn't expect it. It kind of snuck up on me. I was not a fan of that, but it might actually possibly be kind of cool. It might actually do something kind of nice that I appreciate. I'm not sure. Yes, I think most of the doubles in this game are are basically they are B trains, not or yeah, there's some form of B train. Most of the double configurations they get, like that would be a B train. I guess yeah, I don't get to change the configurations. Actually, what I might be able to do though is if I look at trailers. Okay, so like this flatbed over here would be a train because it has the dolly. So this is an A train. This is a B train. So they just call it a double and a B double. And then the Rocky Mountain double is an A train, but it has a longer front end. Turnpike double is still A train. And then their triple yeah, that would be okay. So we just go for dry van and configure. So it's the same thing where, yeah, so the triple is all A, like the A type configuration. Uh, both of these doubles are A train configuration, and the B double is the one that basically has the fifth wheel. Interesting. Oh, and basically I can add an extra axle in there. Okay, well, we'll leave that back and get back to driving. At some point, I'm going to start buying my own trailers. I do find that one thing that I dislike about actually using the trailers you buy in this game is then you are limited to things that can be hauled by that trailer. Meaning you get, like, you make more money, but it's less variety. And I like having the variety of running different loads, running the wide loads and the special cargoes. I am actually hoping for more special cargo DLCs down the road. Which reminds me, I haven't looked to see what games are on sale from my my wish list. Yeah, so that is some of I basically I refer to a lot of B trains as Super Bs just out of habit because I know Succo. I could be wrong, but I think Succo has pretty much just. I don't know where the scale is for this. If I could have my map back, that'd be great. What scale am I pulling into? Oh, are you kidding me? I have to pull left here, go into the scale, come back out, and then go north. You know what? No. Screw you, scale. Go ahead. Find me. I am ignoring that scale. I have never been able to turn right here. I've always had to go left for that stupid scale. I'm not doing it. But yeah, so I think Succo, all of their B trains are Super Bs. So for me, oh, you dick. Probably realistic. People slamming on the brakes for the yellow and then deciding to go through anyway. But uh, Oh, so you have a storm that's gonna be hitting pretty quick then. Okay, we'll see how long it takes for it to clear the message, waiting for the basically telling me to go to the weigh scale. Because I'm just gonna ignore it. I'm turning right and just going on my way. And in real life, I imagine this would be a pretty big problem. This is the sort of stuff that would get in a lot of trouble. Mind you, I don't like with the weigh scale like this, where you have to really go out of the way. I do imagine most of the time they wouldn't necessarily notice you skip the weigh scale. But I do know it's realistic to have weigh scales that you don't. Basically, the weigh scales make you go out of your way to go into the weigh scale. And I mean, that's what you have to do. Okay. I just imagine if the DOT or CBT officers that catch you doing it, they're probably going to make your life difficult for a little bit. But I could be wrong. I don't know. Maybe they wouldn't be complete dicks about it. But I guess that depends really a lot on the officer you're dealing with. Yeah, yeah, that would be. I would imagine that would be the case where you basically skip the scale and there's an officer waiting, being like, "Oh hey, you didn't go through the scale. You skipped over and basically did things the easy way, the easy but incorrect way." That is actually too low RPM for this engine. I need it a wee bit higher, especially going up the hill like that. It's not going to lug it. So one, obviously you need to take a camera over here. Do the shots in your big rig. Make sure it sticks out really far so it can go across the line. I'm sure it won't have any problems. I do really like this view, but actually putting a camera here would probably be sketchy. If you kept it in a little bit tighter, like just off the step there, it would actually probably be completely fine, but this far out would be problematic really easily. Just make sure that the camera and the red flag don't put you over width. You can have a repeat of your experience in the getting ticketed for being over height when you're not really over height. Port Royal 60% off. Cool. I'm gonna pause and just take a look through. So yeah, I feel like Port Royal is a game that is probably worth checking out for the price. And it does have multiplayer. The multiplayer is not perfect, but it should be fun. Yeah. Oh man, there's so much stuff on sale. Yeah. So Port Royal is on sale for $7 Canadian. Oh, there is another game that I'm a game called Rogue Heroes Ruins of Tassus that I might pick up as well. Crusader Kings 3 is 30% off and it's getting cheap enough. I might actually give that a shot. Car Mechanic Simulator has stuff on sale. Yeah, there's a few other things on my wish list that I'm considering. American Truck Simulator is 75% off. Obviously, I don't need to buy it, but I should take a look and see how the DLC are doing on it. Yeah, there's definitely a few games here that could be a lot of fun that are on sale. So I will definitely be buying some games. We'll see how many I actually buy. And all right, let's look at the DLCs. You can buy Texas for 10% off. So that makes it $20.24 Canadian, which is not bad at all. But I am still not going to buy it for that price. And it's not that I don't think Texas is worth $20. It's a big state. There's a lot you're adding with that. And Texas is one of those like really iconic American states that people actually have thoughts and opinions of, even if they're not from America. But the problem I have with it is if I buy the Texas DLC, I can go into Texas. But anywhere where I get stuck sort of along the northern edge of Texas, I basically have to come out. I always have to leave the state through the west edge of the state. Where if I get like Oklahoma and Kansas, I think this is Kansas. Honestly, I can't remember. Then that starts to really lessen off a whole bunch. And the farther north we go, the less that becomes a problem. Then you have a lot more. Basically, it becomes less sandwiched in a weird space where the roads don't quite make sense. Because I remember when you could buy New Mexico, but you couldn't buy Utah yet. You had this and you could go up to Washington. So you had this like weird banana effect. Actually, I don't think it was New Mexico even. I think it was just Arizona to Washington. And you had this weird banana effect that just made it weird to drive in. So I like to buy the states in stacks. Like when I bought the latest DLC, I didn't buy New Mexico until we had Colorado, Wyoming, and Montana already. All right. So, are you able to dispute the ticket without like taking time off and going to dispute it in court or something? Because taking the time off to dispute a ticket seems like that is really not worth it because it's going to cost you more to dispute than you would save by not paying the ticket. Moab, Utah. I absolutely love this area. The landscape here is beautiful. I would love to ride a motorcycle through this area. Preferably riding along with someone else being in a motorhome and just taking frequent breaks and stopping and checking things out. Yeah, the hole in the rock here is one of those areas where I'm like, it's definitely just a tourist trap, but I really enjoy the location. The landscape around here is just beautiful. This is an area I'd love to explore. This is the sort of thing where I kind of wish I was playing a off-road game and I could actually just go explore the landscape, but big rigs are not built for off-roading. It'd be a bad idea. The fact that I'm hauling 40,000 pounds of dynamite doesn't really help. Oh. I looked at the sale, and now my phone is going off with notifications from Steam. Steam knows that I've looked. And we are definitely running that yellow light. But it's okay. Actually, I have no idea why it's okay. Like, we weren't super extra blocking it. There was a big rig beside us, but we were definitely longer than that big rig. So we were blocking it for longer than they were. You're sorry your boss called? Are you now? Is that you're basically sorry? The boss called, as in you are sorry that your boss called, or you're sorry that you stopped chatting for a moment because your boss called. At which point you better be. It's very important to me that you be sorry about it. Yeah. Okay. So if you can just basically do the court date via call, um, that I could see being a lot more worth it. Why do I have to make everything difficult? That's what I'm here for, Michael. Why do you think I'm on this channel at all? Just to make everything more difficult for Juan and Jess and all of the viewers. And we're gonna go left. Just go around. Kinda going wider than I need to, but that's fine. So with these sorts of storms, Michael, do you just kind of wait at home and ride them out, or do you guys have a storm shelter? And if the storm gets bad enough, do you like go to the storm shelter just as a precautionary measure? Yes, Milo, you did find the mini Juan, even though he was very tiny and difficult to spot. Okay, that is good, Michael. Glad you have a shelter for storms. Wider than I really wanted to go, just because that's the sensitivity of steering in the game. Yeah, I can see not liking twin storms. Yep, where that truck's not stopping for us. We're not merging into that. Yeah, so I guess if the advice you got from another officer is to dispute it, then it sounds like that's probably the best course of action. But yeah, the fact that first off the ticket for being overheight for a tarp is in itself kind of ridiculous. But then also the fact that the height he recorded is just not even remotely close to accurate is kind of ridiculous. I feel like officers who write something like when they write a like that's like sometimes police have a tactic where if you are doing, let's say, 55 and a 50, and they'll write you up for doing like 65. So that way you go and dispute and you're like, I might have been doing like 55, but I definitely wasn't doing 65. And they go, well, 55 was still speeding. So guess what? The speeding ticket stands. So I wonder if that might be why he put a ridiculous height on there. Meanwhile, though, if you're smart about it and you just go, no, I'm not going to give them evidence that I was doing 5 over by saying, no, I was doing 55, not 65. I'm just going to go, basically, these are the reasons why I can, basically, this is my proof that I was not doing 65. I was not doing 65. I can prove I was not doing 65. And then you'll basically you stand a better chance than admitting to something lesser, even though the lesser still has the exact same penalty as what they accused you of. Yeah, there are definitely it happens more often than it should, where cops will basically just power trip a little bit and give speeding tickets or like minor infraction tickets for things that really shouldn't shouldn't be. Still snowing, Milo girl. You're going to be trapped under a bunch of snow while Michael is hiding from tornadoes and strong winds. I feel like you're winning that deal, Milo. I feel like I would rather take a nice heavy snowfall. So for all of the 2-lane, it's too much of an uphill for me to really gain speed. But now that we're leveling up, I'm actually starting to gain on this truck again. Yeah, that's the thing. Basically, if your tarp while flapping goes over height, that's a ridiculous thing to give a ticket for, because that doesn't matter. If you go under a bridge, it's not like a tarp that flaps up high enough to actually be able to hit that bridge is going to do anything. It's not going to damage the bridge. It's not going to cause damage to basically it's not going to put like debris on the road. It's it's going to be fine. And also, most likely, it's probably just going to do nothing at all. The tarp's probably not even going to hit the bridge, even if it could, in theory, move up high enough to hit it. You're turning without a signal light. Very much dick move, but accurate. Also, slamming on your brakes on a highway and then turning without a signal light. But all that's realistic. Annoying as hell, but realistic. Yeah, I know, Milo. These computer truck drivers are trying to give me heart attacks in here. So many mini Juans. But if you have more than Juan, then you don't have Juan. Then you have many. And many is not Juan. Definitely like this, right? Right coming between these mountains here is where I would love to have, basically I'd love to have a second camera going around the truck while going through this sort of area. But why is camera not letting me? Now I also just wish I could drive better while in this camera view. Man, is this difficult. It's like driving an RC car, except for you're basically like also teleporting around while driving said RC car. Definitely not a skill I have developed and am probably ever going to develop. Yeah, there was a train. All right. Nice open highway. Lets us get away with a little bit more speeding. And so, Jess, I'm guessing you are planning on doing a stream tonight? Wait, no. You're out with Juan this week, aren't you? You're not home to stream right now during this week, I don't think. I can't remember. Every day blends into to each other, and then the weeks kind of start to blend together too. All right, slowing down more than I meant to. What do you mean? What's going on here? There's trains going on. Oh, there. Man, I used a crap ton of air on that brake. Would have been hard to be less efficient. So where is? Oh, there. The train is. You can just barely see it over the edge of that hill. Oh, okay. Juan wants to know why he got home this early for the weekend if Jess isn't going to stream. I agree, Jess. Gotta do your duty. Gotta get your stream in. Yeah, that's the downside of getting home early for the weekend is it doesn't last as long then. The mini court of Milo has decided. Yeah, that's if you're not flexible, trucking probably isn't for you. Yeah, that's the thing of like I don't Yeah, I could probably do trucking, but there's a lot of the things I do that I wouldn't be able to do. I would not be able to do a bunch of the things I enjoy doing right now. Like I would absolutely, obviously not be able to do the thing where I'm teaching sword fighting. But even just a lot of the stuff I do on weekends where I'm like, no, I wouldn't be able to make those commitments to be like, yes, I'm going to be here to be able to do this for the weekend. It would be a lot tougher. Tougher. It'd be a lot tougher. It'd be a lot tougher. It'd be difficult to have a good life-work balance. I feel like that's the problem that Jeff has with trucking more than anything else, is that a life-work balance as a trucker is pretty difficult. All right, I'm gonna start planning my. Nope, wrong button. There. All right, so I have 3 hours before I need to do the next rest stop, and as I've proven, 3 hours there's sometimes not enough to even get to the next rest stop. So let's start planning this out. That one is closer than we need it to be and was a kind of a weird, messy one. That one right there is probably the best rest stop. But if we're going to pull over there to sleep, we're probably going to pull over somewhere earlier for gas. And by gas, I mean diesel. Please don't put gasoline in my truck. That seems bad. That is a interesting way to, yeah, that seems like a more efficient way to do that. Okay, we've planned our stops. Yeah, like that's one thing when like truckers are asking how you get away with it. Do you not see all the hiring truckers signs? You can get away with a lot. You just have to be careful how you bring it up. When everyone is hiring, you can kind of ask for more than you'd normally be able to get away with. Yeah, that's the more indispensable you make yourself, the more you can demand. Happy cattle. I think that was the world's most happy cattle. Yeah, the world's most happy cattle. I don't know who's got the world's most happy cattle, but they want us to know that they have the world's happiest cattle. And now that's also one of those things of sometimes the way to get more work done in a short period of time. Oh, we have another one of these disasters happening. Just going to sweep wide clear of that. There's a big rig's in the wrong lane, and now it's trying to merge over to the right to get to the scales in time, but it can't. So it just makes a giant traffic jam. But yeah, basically, one of those things of if you take a bit more time for yourself, you can work harder while at work. So you can definitely, if you pitch it right, sometimes you can get a better work-life balance by proving that helping your work-life balance helps your work. You get more done when you're not worrying about every little thing. All right, it is currently 8 p.m. in Utah. I guess it's 8 to 20 in Utah, but so we'll want to pull over and sleep relatively soon. All right. Let's just get in here and get some fuel. This should be a very nice, easy TL. Just basically pull in here, pull straight through. Shouldn't be a ton of money on fuel this fill up, because it was still like half a tank there. So 742. Not bad at all. It is definitely, I feel like fuel in this game is not expensive enough to make the perk of being fuel efficient worth it at all. And that is with realistic fuel consumption being a thing, like basically being turned on in the game. Stomach freeze. I don't think I've ever had stomach freeze before, even when basically swallowing ice. Not that I make a habit out of swallowing ice, so it's not a thing I've done frequently. But yeah, I imagine that could be an interesting experience. Having very cold ice in your stomach. Well, and that is in this game. If I actually fill up my fuel tanks, it is over 1,000. But I also have 300-gallon fuel tanks on this truck right now. The half tank cost me almost 750. So full tank should be somewhere around the $1,400 mark. Definitely a little bit more than my SUV, which costs about $100 to fill up. And I'm just sitting there in 15th gear and getting the shift. I do that from time to time. Alright, the sun's getting low in the horizon. It's gonna be time to go for a nap real quick here. Well, that's the thing of basically with you making unrealistic amounts of money, the cost of the fuel should be more expensive. Like the fuel's realistic, but the amount of money you make is so ridiculously high that it just doesn't feel right. That said, there are mods that fix this. There are mods that give you much more realistic pay. So you can do it. You can have a realistic truck simulator. I want to say they cut the amount of fuel you, or the amount of, not the amount of fuel. They don't change the amount of fuel you use. So I feel like I could not really successfully park in here. Not like this. Oh, I am wrong. My load is not that long. This is not actually a real problem. But yeah, basically I think the thing that would make it worth getting the fuel economy perk would be stuff like having the pay structure be more realistic, where rather than making like $40 for the trip, I'm trying to think what you would be able to drop it down to make it still work while also not being, like, basically make it not broken so the game doesn't work, but also make it closer to realistic. But you could get it down to at least like a couple bucks a mile. I don't know that you could get it to like close to the $1 mark, but you could probably get it within a few bucks of that. Like, even if they took the prices and dropped them by 1/10, that would be all right. Because that's where this trip, total round trip, is probably going to cost me about $1,500 in fuel. Let's say let's toss in a couple $100 other expenses and maintenance. So yeah, and if they cut it down to 1/10, I would still make 11. So I'd be making 11,000, and let's say pay somewhere like my bills for the trip would probably be around 2,000. So I'd still be making quite a bit of money. You basically cut it down by 1/10, and I'm still making unrealistically high amounts of money. It would take you 10 times as long to get anywhere. It'd be a very long slog of a game, and I actually think I would probably enjoy that. I don't think I'm going to run this game long enough to make that worthwhile, but I feel like that'd be an interesting thing to play sometime. Do do a hardcore American Truck Simulator thing where it takes you forever to really build up. But yeah, you'd have to basically do like work for a company for a number of months at least before you, like, so basically in this game I worked for another company for like 2 days and then bought my own truck and haven't looked back since. Like, in game time, I've been playing this for 5 weeks, which is actually less time than, no, I've been playing this real lifetime for, this is the third week, so it's actually not that far off. It's just that in the game I'm covering basically multiple days in a few hours real time. But anyway, in like 5 weeks in game, I have a trucking company with 4 other drivers, and it's profitable. Even if I just stop driving right now, my trucking company is profitable. So 100% not even remotely realistic. Whereas if you made this take 10 times as long, that's still basically that takes about a year to get to this place then. So in about a year, I'd be able to get to the point of having my drivers make enough money to cover my bills. That would be that'd be kind of ridiculous. Like, that's not realistic. Like, could happen, but is not likely. Still unrealistically easy. Significantly more brutal, and for most people probably too boring. But I think that would be fun. Maybe when you get the DLC and we do some convoy, maybe it might be worth do the realism mod. Yeah, storms are moving fast. And Michael's saying there's 2 storms coming in, so he's gonna get hit twice. Yes, we are merging in. The unrealistic part there is I didn't have 5 cars basically blocking up my space trying to... Alright, so we have an absolute cluster going on here. Everyone's coming to a screeching halt because merging in this game is a little bit funky. Anytime the road merges, you can kind of already prepare yourself for things that have come to a complete stop for no reason. You're getting all the map DLC, including Texas, because I was not planning on getting Texas. I might have to chat with you and see if you plan on running convoys sometime soon that I might be able to join. Might be worth getting Texas. I don't want Texas yet though. Texas is going to be it's a odd, weird shaped state. I want to wait until Oklahoma is ready. I want Oklahoma and Kansas really. We will settle for just Oklahoma, but I do kind of want Oklahoma and Kansas before I buy Texas. And the upside is Texas will probably be at least like 30% off by the time that happens. Because that's my entire thing. If I just look at the world map right now, Texas, all the roads in and out of Texas are just going to be right here, here, and here. You've only got 3 ways in and out of Texas. Might add something over here, but the only way in and out of Texas is New Mexico. So I'd just rather wait for a better sale when Texas is also going to be more usable. Unless Michael wants to buy Texas for me. Michael could totally just buy me Texas. I don't actually... I feel like, yeah. Basically, I could totally get Texas today, but it doesn't make sense until Oklahoma's released, and I don't know when Oklahoma's going to be released. Yeah, and that's the thing where I'm like, when you're missing certain states, you get these really weird artificial long routes. Like if you bought New Mexico when it first came out, getting from New Mexico to Washington was a longer route than it is currently currently the longest route in the game can be, because you are missing some of the in-between states that make that route the realistic length. So you get these weird sections where you're basically trapped. Basically, the road you need to take exists, and it's like you can see where it would be, but the state hasn't been finished, so therefore you can't go there yet. And I feel like because of the panhandle, Texas is a particularly egregious example of it. Okay. I do kind of hate the fact that at some point I should actually look at OBS and see if I can fiddle with the mic settings to get them better. Because I know with Discord, I don't need to mute myself in order to like drink water, but with the OBS settings, it picks up all of that. Every little subtle sound of me basically like slurping up water comes through so nice and crystal clear, and I don't like listening to it, so I'm just going to go ahead and assume other people don't like listening to it, so I mute myself for it. But it might be possible to just change mic settings and make that alright. Yeah, like the panhandle's not very wide, but the roads that lead through it are, or I guess because of it, Texas only shares borders I was going to say something dumb and wrong. Texas shares borders with 4 other states, but it would have been 5, or it would have been 6, or before that Panhandle deal was made, before Oklahoma was given the Panhandle. So basically, if I could come down through Texas through the top here, that already improves things. But also, if I can have runs where basically I'm headed out here and go across Kansas and Oklahoma and into Texas and come back up this way, all of that stuff would be super cool. But right now, there's 3 ways in and out of Texas, so any run in and out of Texas is going to be weird. Not to say bad, but between the fact that Texas is the most expensive DLC, which is fair, it is the biggest state, so I don't have an issue with it being more expensive than the other states. I feel like waiting for it to go on sale is just, or waiting for it to go on sale for a bigger discount and waiting for the states north of it to be done. And like the same way as like, I wouldn't get Kansas on its own without the states north of it done. I probably honestly wouldn't wait until the Dakotas were done at that point. Kansas is not exciting enough to warrant getting on its own. Texas, at least, is a big, interesting state. One of the other things I definitely need to look at is if I basically move from a different YouTube video to one of my live streams, my live streams are way quieter than everything else. Because like in OBS, like I have the sound like set where it's like my voice and even the game sound is getting up into the like the yellow section, the basically the audio is there quite large, like quite loud, but it still just comes across quieter. Now, is that the continental or non-continental USA? I feel like that's a trick question because it probably does not matter. I'd be surprised if the non-continental USA is even 8% of the USA. Oh, I am speeding by more than I meant to. The speed limit is 65 here. I can do less than 80. Yep, time to go do some editing, get your truck shots lined up. So we've got 5.5 hours left for this delivery, which means we don't need any more rest stops. And by the time we make this delivery, I think it is very likely we'll be able to reduce our loan a whole whack. We won't really be able to. Like my goal at this point is to pay off the loan and get enough money together to buy another garage and start expanding. But it actually takes a fair bit of time to build up that much money, especially now that I'm being fancy and spending $180,000 on every truck I'm buying instead of 110. Actually, it might be more than 180. I think the trucks I'm buying might be over $200,000 at this point. Oh, you're trying out some new fancy camera angles? I feel like at some point you should actually give my 360 cam a shot, but I think the best point of the 360 cam would be to have it on the exterior of the vehicle, and is kind of having it on the exterior of the vehicle is a risk. But I do need to get my camera mount sorted out for motorcycles so that way I can take some 360 shots from on the tank. I also really need to sort out how to do, like, basically make videos of the 360 so you can look wherever you want while the video's playing. But excuse me. I don't actually. I think I need a piece of software I don't have. Like, I know Adobe can do that, but I actually don't know what other video editing software can actually do 360 footage that YouTube will accept. Yeah, having a camera just slowly start moving is probably a bad sign. Probably a good sign that it's coming loose, which is bad. We're down to 3.5 hours, 250 miles left. And we can see the mountains. Them beautiful, beautiful mountains. Now just think of all the fun I could have if these roads here were covered in nice thick snow, and I had to like stop and chain up and deal with all of that BS. It's probably a good thing the game doesn't make me do any of that. It's probably also a good thing that the game doesn't make me like stop at the brake checks. There's a lot of things the game could do that the game doesn't do, and I should be grateful for the fact that it doesn't make my life more difficult. But also, that would make it more realistic. And that is kind of the point of a sim. You're hoping the second storm is not as bad as the first one that has hit? Yeah, I imagine there's a lot of sideways rain when you get those high wind storms. So how do I end up in this situation so often? Just hanging out in the left lane, being an absolute, basically being a roadblock to all the regular cars. Paid off loan installment. Paying off the loan installment is nice because that slowly reduces the amount I still have owing. But also, the more I can pay off before the loan installments come out. Basically, if I pay it off right away, I actually don't pay any interest on it. I only pay interest on it when the payment comes out. So if I pay it off without the payment actually being removed from my account, I don't pay interest, which means I keep more money. It is still more cost effective to take loans simply because the loans will, like, even the AI drivers will pay off the loans faster than, like, basically they'll pay off the interest fast enough, like the loans fast enough that the interest is not causing me any issues while making me money in addition to that. So they actually are a net gain, even in the worst case scenario. So the loans in this game, much like fuel, are very forgiving. Which is one of those things, it's not a problem, but it's also just not realistic. That sounds like fun. Are you talking about Michael's sideways rain, his storm? Or are you talking about American Truck Simulator being brutal and hard and a pain in the butt? Ooh, that was close. Carrying a little bit more speed through those corners than I should be. How about we slow down a little bit? I know the section of road is windy. I should know better than to be going through that while speeding. Yes and yes? Or just rain? Because I do like storm weather. I feel like I would like Milo's weather better right now. Milo's got heavy snowfall. It is still winter, and I do like my heavy snow. But a good spring storm is great, as long as I don't have to go do something in that storm. I'm hoping we have a chance for me to kind of clean up my everything going on outside my yard before we have a spring storm roll through. Yeah, I remember storms that basically roll in and you'd have strong winds and thunder and lightning for sometimes, but basically not necessarily for days, but you could be sitting there for like, I know, I guess it would get into like days territory. You'd be sitting there, be somewhere between like 30 to 60 hours of continuous storm. And there are times where you'd get like a storm that would roll through and it would take like 3 to 4 days for it to really clear, but it wasn't like brutal high intensity storm the whole way through. I No, those guys are just parked. I'm like, I think those guys are trying to leave, but no, they're just parked there. Actually, I'm going to, since I'm going through here for the umpteenth time, and I do like this road, I'm going to pull out over here into the sleeping area. I'm not going to sleep. I don't need the rest. But what I do need is, first off, just explore the road over here and just take a look what the rest stop up here looks like. I mean, like in theory, that should have a beautiful view of the valley, but I can't really. Though, look at on the other side of the road is going to be by far the better view. All right, back down the switchbacks we go. In 1 mile, we have a runaway truck ramp. I feel like that's a lie. No, that might still have been within a mile. Or at least we have been close to a mile. Unfortunately, I'm too busy trying to steer through this to keep a close eye on the mile counter. Alright, we made it. Down the hill. So of course, visibility is 0 feet. With rain that hard hitting your eyes, it'd be very hard to see anything at all. Yeah, it's one of those storms where basically it doesn't matter how fast your wipers move, you're not really going to be able to see much through the windshield. The rain's just hitting it too hard where the wiper doesn't actually clear anything. Because the raindrops are basically hitting all around the wiper as it goes. Yeah, I remember being a passenger along for rides through storms, where you could feel the storm, but you couldn't really so much see it because all of your windows are just getting pelted by rain so hard that you could just see the like wall of water hitting the window, nothing else. All right, 66 miles left to go. I did find it interesting that I have like this current tendency to doing runs that are almost exactly 2 days long. So I'm left with a little bit of like basically I leave midday, and 2 days later I arrive midday. Over time, I think these are going to skew forward or back until I am out of the usual, but right now they keep seeming to kind of bounce back so that I sort of stay in the middle. Yes, you did say that you were going to do some editing. So you should probably go do that bit of it. All right, pull vehicle in for an inspection. We'll pull our vehicle in for an inspection then. We obey the law sometimes when it's convenient. Once again, I have never not gone through the weigh scale here. I have never driven the road next to the weigh scale here at all. Yep. Welcome to Washington. Wait. Where is... Okay, yes, that's north out of Pendleton. That's where that bridge is. So we are just about home. Because for like our load delivery is right here. But the actual garage where all of my operation is based of is right over here in Wenatchee. I have spent very little time ever going to Wenatchee. So I guess the one realistic thing about my my truck driving journey in this game has been I'm making as much money as I am largely because I'm never going home. It's always from job to job, never getting home. Now I would love if this game gave you some reason to go home from time to time. Gave you some reason to like gave you a way to spend money on something. Like I don't necessarily want it to have like simulate things outside of trucking. But even if they just gave you like you could buy a garage, buy a house nearby, and it's like buy other vehicles to put in the house, like buy an RV, buy a sports car, buy a truck. And you could basically go around and drive with those from time to time. It would kind of neat. Give you a goal of what to do with your money, other than just expand your trucking empire forever. But that is just one of those things. If I enjoy things like that in every game, the fact that it would take time and attention away from what they're really developing is a legitimate reason not to do it. But like, even if they didn't let me drive an actual proper car, letting me drive like a an RV would honestly be good enough. Let me drive something significantly smaller and go for an adventure. Mind you, I also think the game shouldn't let you use rest stops unless you have a sleeper, so in that case an RV would make sense, where the way they have it right now, you could basically go across America in a sports car and not have any problems. I do hate when cars like start to go through the stoplight, like go through the stop sign, and then they just stop for no reason. They just like slam on the brakes. There's no traffic. There's no nothing. They've got like they stopped at the stop sign and started to go, and then panicked over nothing. And I'd like to basically say this is just like a driving bug. It's bad at AI or something. But really, people do that in real day-to-day driving, so it's really not fully unrealistic. It should be, but it's not. Yeah, okay, the second storm is significantly smaller, but honestly, that's the thing with living in a tornado area. Even the small storms can produce tornadoes, and it doesn't have to be a big tornado to be deadly. All right, and I just have to basically pull it straight in because it is a multi-set trailer. That is the one thing I kind of get cranky about, the fact that I'm hauling a lot of B trains. Actually, this is an A train. This is not a B train. So the fact that I'm hauling a lot of trains, though, means that I am basically bypassing a lot of the parking challenges in this game. I'm just driving my vehicle, basically just pulling them forward and going. All right, I consumed 350 gallons, and it took me 20 or 48 hours, so 2 full days. And it pays me out a whopping $110,000. So now, if I didn't have any bonuses, that would have paid 78,000. So if we drop that by a factor of 10, that'd be 7.8 thousand. Still only like would make almost 4 times what it cost me to do. So over time, that would still be, I would be making $6,000 profit on 2 days of work. So you could also drop it by even more. You could get down to pretty realistic numbers and have the game still playable. So I kind of wish they would leave that an option. So I wish they would actually let that be a thing you could do. You could actually go, oh, yeah, let's make this harsher. Let's make this more realistic. All right, so we're paying our big $400,000 loan. Still have basically now the new loan of $150,000 I still have to pay off, but another driving session like that, and we would have that paid off. So those are great by price per distance. Let's just see, what's the longest run currently available? The longest run is from Astoria, Oregon to Artesia, New Mexico at 1,668 miles. Empty pallets from Hobbs, New Mexico to Colville. Where, yeah, the longest run I can do right now would take me to Carlsbad, New Mexico. which I actually don't mind the idea of, and it's a bulldozer. It's an interesting run. The pay for it is not as good as I am sure there are. Nope, that is actually basically one of the best paying options that I have per mile. So that might be what oh no, so from Kennewick to Pueblo, yeah, so there are better paying options than the one to Carlsbad. But you know what, maybe I'll end up taking that one anyway. But that will be a question for my next stream. I am going to call the stream here, where we are, yeah, we are still in week 5 in game. But either way, thank you for tuning in. I hope you all have a good evening, and if it is not evening wherever you are, I hope you have a good night or good morning, whatever it is where you are. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you later.